Hello, everybody. My name is Akita Akari Aurora, and this week we are exploring Gene Key number 18, the gift of integrity, the shadow of judgment, and the CD of perfection. Its programming partner is number 17, farsightedness. Richard Rudd says, the secret of the gift of integrity is to be able to hold your own space without reacting to your judgments or self judgments. Fail. This was a super moon week, right? Very intense week, and this is the card that we've been exploring all of this stuff with, or the energy that we've been experiencing this super moon week that we just had, right? Or having with last night's supermoon. Today is Saturday. I'll probably post this on Sunday, but what an intense week, right? It's the gift of integrity, the shadow of judgment, and the CD of perfection. Yes, reacting in a way that allows our judgments and our self judgments to hold space for those. Ooh, that's the balance. Who has GeneKey18 in them? I want to know. If you do your keys and you have 18 in you, let me know. All right, let's get into the wisdom story. The wisdom story. From a young age, I knew something was wrong with the way women were treated in my society. My father talked down to my mother, and she let him. Then she'd fret and complain behind his back. But she never spoke up for herself and encouraged the same sense of inferiority in me. In my teens, I became angry. I saw her life as sad and pathetic and promised myself I'd never be an oppressed woman. So I rejected all things mother. I spoke my mind, broke the rules, and took on the world. I became an independent, staunch feminist, refusing to be patronized. It got to a point where my father threatened to disown me. My mother tried to calm the waters, but deep down she felt ashamed of her unruly daughter. I left the country and built a new life as an activist and artist. When my parents visited, I'd watch my father's condescendence and my mother make nice. I felt superior to both of them, either rolling my eyes or flying off the handle. I didn't realize just how victimized I felt by my mother's victimization until I was invited to a friend's house to meet her parents. Like mine, they came from a traditional background. The father dominated the conversation, the mother nodded and smiled, but somehow my friend was still able to enjoy them and herself. Her kindness and her acceptance of their limitations brought out the best in them. I began to judge myself for having judged my mother so harshly and for not seeing how similar to my father I'd become. Despite all we'd put up, despite all we'd put her through, my mother kept treating us with respect and gentleness, never losing her temper. For the first time in my life, I saw the strength in her vulnerability. Though she could still benefit from standing up for herself, she had a capacity for compassion and compromise that I desperately needed. Thanks to her, I devoted my life to helping people understand and work through their childhoods so they can open their hearts and live with integrity. I love that story. My gift to you. I am here to help you complete your childhood. It takes courage to uncover the wounds from your past. As you release yourself from the messages and modeling that no longer serve you, you will be free to see and receive the gifts from your parents with a soft, compassionate heart. When you are truly in your integrity, it won't be possible to take the judgments of others personally or to identify as a victim of yourself or anyone else. This is not a path to be walked alone, so reach out for support. Allow a friend, therapist, mentor, or spiritual counselor to accompany you as you revisit those painful experiences that hardened your heart, made you feel inferior or superior, or kept you from expressing yourself freely and connecting deeply. Over time, you will learn to judge not from the mind, but from the heart. Questions for contemplation. Where do you tend to feel inferior or superior to others? Who are you being hard on, even if you don't like to admit it? Second question. Where is self-judgment most alive in your life? Who are you negatively comparing yourself to? These are some really good questions. Number 3, in what ways does your self-judgment keep you from owning and honoring your own inner authority? I was thinking about inner authority this week. That's interesting that that came up. Question number 4. What does integrity mean to you? Name one thing you can do today to feel more in your integrity. And number 5, how can perfection be an inspiration in your life rather than a driving force to an unattainable ideal? Beautiful wisdom, deep questions, beautiful wisdom questions. And let's repeat the phrase for this key. The secret of the gift of integrity is to be able to hold your own space without reacting to your judgments or self judgments. All right, it's the gift of integrity, the shadow of judgment, and the seed of perfection. And let's tie it all the way into the 9-9 reading, right? Embodied spiritual integrity, balanced balanced evolution, right? So just tying all of these codes and words into really where we are right now and what we're being asked to step into and ascend to. Okay, this is the week of integrity, and when the dragons and the unicorns come out, you'll really see what I'm talking about. All right, we'll get into it next. Okay, so the first dragon that came out was the golden crested dragon. It brings you higher love so that you can embody the Christ light. And you can also think of Christ light as Christ consciousness. That's how I think about it. Absorb the Christ light, which is Christ consciousness, and you are protected. Expand your heart and remain fifth dimensional. I was listening to something this week, and the guy mentioned that when we hear that we are protected, one way we can look at it is just knowing that you are on your path. And that made sense to me because, yeah, when we are on our path, we would have the most protection, right? It's when we're out of alignment is when we experience a lot of things that we don't want to experience. But even those experiences that come to us while we are off alignment bring us back closer into alignment. So it's just about how many experiences and lessons you need to bring you into alignment, but there's always going to be something that get you back there, right? All right, so the golden Christ dragon wants us to know that we are on our paths, you know, and that this is a fifth dimensional energy, but it's a fifth dimensional energy that allows us access to the ninth dimensional energy. And I thought that was interesting. Also, this relationship between the five and the nine. You know, the five is that breakthrough energy, right? And even the fifth chakra, what's the fifth chakra, is our throat chakra, right? So that comes in too, right? And shifting. So the fifth chakra is our throat chakra. And that's our will and our blueprint and our divine will. And again, we're talking about integrity, you know, we're talking about perfection and integrity and judgments and shifting from the fifth, or using the fifth through the ninth energy, you know, dimension, the throat chakra, raising that. So all of that coming into, again, we're shifting and we're upgrading. That's what I'm trying to say. We're calling in the higher essence of ourself, right? Even the integrity and farsightedness, the gene key, 18 and 17. So all of it has this futuristic energy. We're in the energy of integrity, but that partner is the farsightedness, building towards the future. And as I get more into the cards, you'll probably see that too. All right, so golden Christed dragon, fifth dimension. Again, that fifth dimension, we're also talking about being in harmony with each other and conscious creations, and our creations being in balance with the earth, with the animals, with the plants, you know. So we're living in community with one another, right? So again, we're shifting gears. We're calling in more of this golden age energy, fifth dimensional energy, and we're using it by tapping into the higher essences of ourself, which is that ninth dimensional energy, the galactic energy, you know, the higher chakras. So it's interesting how all of the cards, even before, were telling us to, you know, do the meditations and breathing to get the energy and to activate. And now it's saying, yeah, okay, so now let's make those shifts. We're going to use this energy in order to live with more integrity. Right? So this dragon comes in to remind us that our hearts are incredibly powerful, and to accept the love of the higher energies and to spread it on out to others. So again, living in balance and harmony with others. You know, get it for yourself, but spread that love out to others. It also reminds us about our special relationship with Atlantis, and that's coming up so much, right? But what was Atlantis again? If we go back and we think of that society, it was advanced. It was an advanced society, and they knew about their spiritual gifts, and they combined that with technology, right? So you had spirit technology. So again, the higher chakras, the more and more I get in this energy, I'm realizing, you know, the spirit technology is the higher chakras. You know, the lower chakras we clear out, but when we tap into these higher chakras, 8 and above, we really, and using that energy, that I'm getting the downloads now that is our spirit technology, right? That is the age of Atlantis, the golden age and the advanced society of Atlantis. They were using their higher chakras. And as we fell, we're now stuck in the lower chakras. But this multi-dimensional, double-dimensional age that we are stepping into now, we can live in the higher chakras as well as the lower chakras, right? We can open up and use all of these chakras, tap into all of our chakras, right? So then, and this reading too had 2 dragons and 2 unicorns. So we are in balance. 2 gene key cards, 2 dragons and 2 unicorns. So the first dragon, again, I said, was the golden Christ, the dragon, right? So tapping into that Christ consciousness, right? Christ consciousness, again, is hearts and minds, right? Heart chakra as well as your crown chakra and that third eye chakra. Let's not forget that third eye chakra, right? So we're tapping into Christ consciousness, seeing through the third eye, seeing beyond the veil, seeing without the fear, seeing with open hearts, seeing beyond the illusions. So we're tapping into all of that within us, right? And then comes the golden dragon from Arcturus. And again, this Arcturian energy keeps on coming up, keeps on coming up. But the Arcturian energy, again, is about the advanced way of living as well as building and the architectures. You're, again, tapping into a blueprint, right? The golden Christed dragon. The throat chakra, living a life with integrity, all right? Going beyond the judgments, right? And tapping into that perfection, that state of perfection. So the golden dragon from Arcturus, it opens you to knowledge for the new golden age. You see that? So these two dragons, again, are preparing you to tap into this new golden age, the age of Aquarius, right? And it carries the energy of the future. Again, we're building, we're stepping into balanced evolution. We're consciously creating balanced evolution through our spiritual integrity, right? That empowers everybody. So it carries this energy of the future. It's saying to be this beacon, the seventh dimensional beacon. And the seventh dimensional beacon, again, I'm thinking of just that energy of seven, that seven energy is integration. So again, everything is integrated and you're a beacon and you're now guiding through your integrated self. You're building with this integrated self that has gone through the past, understands what type of future you want to build, and you're building all of this with this balance, with this rebirth, and with this new vision, all of this October energy of rebirth and vision and living in balance and harmony with ourselves and others, right? So these two dragons really bringing in that message in. And they also mentioned that Arcturus is the prototype of Earth's future. All right, so you can tap into that a little bit more if you feel the need to. The color frequency was golden orange, and for me that connects us into the sacral and the solar plexus chakras. Again, the sacral community, building new relationships with people around us, right? Families, friends, community, colleagues, right? Generation. Building, let me say generation, reproduction, and generation after generation, but that's not the word I want to say. The word is escaping me right now, but just creation, right? Just building and creation. What are we creating? What communities and what relationships are we building? And the solar plex is doing that with confidence, right? Not being ashamed or in fear, but being confident and standing in our power. So that golden orange frequency, the plexus, and both of those, just like working at their best and their highest frequency, right? The golden orange, right? It says that we are walking masters who are ready to help usher in the new golden age. So when this orange gold dragon from Arcturus shows up, it's because the walking masters are ready to help usher in the new golden age, right? And that's whom we are. We are walking masters, right? It helps us to stimulate great evolutionary change. And again, it helps us to stand in our power and to fulfill our destiny. Again, and fulfilling our destiny, again, that sacral energy, because we create everything from the sacral energy. And that's why it's so important, that relationship between the sacral energy and your solar plexus energy. I was in 2021 when this really, really grounded that in, that you have to really really preserve that sacral energy, because it is your creation energy. And the more you preserve that, and you realize how sacred that is, that what you are creating will bring forth better things towards you, right? So we stand in power through our solar plexus, and we fulfill our destiny through our sacral. All right, it's talking about strength, wisdom, and knowledge needed for the transformations ahead. And again, remembering we're in the month of October, energy of rebirth, energy of vision, and energy of balanced harmony, right? And the 9-9 reading, just putting everything in. A 8 portal, 9-9 portal, where are we do that in a balanced way, right? That doesn't bulldoze other people, right? So let's go into the unicorns. And the unicorns were just as interesting and just as cohesive of the Christ light and the Christ consciousness. All right, and the unicorn, law of grace, number 41. This card is such a beautiful card. Just the picture, it's just beautiful. And literally, this card didn't come flying out. This card came spinning out like a spiral. Right? So it says, be your divine essence, dissolve all in grace. And like I said, this week has been an intense week. It's the week of the supermoon, the last supermoon of the year, and there were a lot of emotions that did come up, intense emotions. And our relationships and the relationships that we're having with others is an integral part of our lives. So the law of grace, number 41, let's get into it. It says, be your divine essence and dissolve all in grace, activating the law of grace through our actions of pure love. So as we are able to act with more and more love and pure love within our own selves, we are activating grace for ourselves and also for others. Unicorn number 41 reminds us that grace is forgiveness. And when we have relationships with other people that have hurt us or we have hurt, that it produces a cord. I know you might be familiar with cutting cords. We do cutting cord ceremonies in shamanism. So we cut cords, etherical cords to start afresh, right? And this card talks about how being corded to others through our actions or words or thoughts even that hurt other people keep us attached. And it's not just that we keep ourselves attached to those people, but those people also keep themselves attached to us. So it's it's a lose-lose situation there, right? So if you've hurt somebody through actions, thoughts, or words, you're corded. If somebody has hurt you through actions, thoughts, or words, you're corded to them, So even sometimes, it's important to even look before we blame somebody to say, well, you did this to me and you did that to me, because you're immediately cording that person to you, right? And attaching that person to you. And the only way to unattach yourself is through forgiveness. So we have to accept that everybody who we're angry at, we're going to someday have to come into forgiveness with them. And that is so real because, when I'm doing work with people, anger is a big thing. And we tend to judge ourselves with the emotion of anger. Anger could be destructive. Anger could also be very constructive. But what I'm seeing and definitely telling people now is that, we have to acknowledge and face our anger, but the next step is forgiveness. Like, you can't just be angry. We have to forgive. So once we acknowledge the anger, yes, let's look at it, but you got to be ready to forgive too. That is the next step. All right. So, and the card goes on to say forgiveness activates a better experience because it shows that we are no longer thinking or believe that we deserve punishment. So, when we activate forgiveness, it's literally saying that I now I see the I accept what happened to me or to the other person. I accept myself for what I did. I accept the other person for what they did. And that forgiveness in an internal way says that I now deserve better. I no longer deserve punishment. So as we hold people in, you've hurt me, I've hurt you, then we're still in punishment mode. And that says to the universe, okay, I either deserve to be punished because I've hurt somebody, or this person needs to be punished because they've hurt me. And once we stay in that punishment mode, there's no grace being given. So as we activate grace and we activate forgiveness, it actually says, hey, I deserve better, they deserve better. Okay, and that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So this card is talking about not just the law of grace and us stepping into our divine essence, but for us to actually practice grace with others in our relationships. And when we do this, and the more and more we do this, it allows our relationships to transform with love, and it helps us to erase some of that karma, right? The card mentions that God looks over us and looks at us in our highest good. So that is how we should extend what we should extend to others is that same thing. And it reminds us to send our intentions out with grace as well, so again, we're all in this energy of integrity, right? And judgment and perfection. And here comes unicorn number 41, the law of grace, saying, be your divine essence, dissolve it all in grace. This is how God loves you. Love others this way as well. The Christ consciousness, tapping into the golden Christed dragons and the orange gold dragon from Arcturian, saying, preparing for the golden age, to be in harmony and balance with others, to live in an integrity way, a way full of integrity, and to activate forgiveness through grace. I mean, come on, what a beautiful message here, right? And the next unicorn was unicorn number 12, and unicorn number 12 is saying, hey, the freedom of truth. Hello. So we had truth, grace, integrity, and Christ consciousness. What a week. And a super moon. All under this beautiful energy of October is telling us to rebirth ourselves, to set the new vision, and to come into balance and harmony with others, So card number 12 says the freedom of truth. Communicate honestly and be who you truly are. And as I was writing with this one, I wrote community. And then I was like, oh no, it's not community, it's communicate. And then my mind was like, yeah, but I wanted you to see that. Right? So and then I wrote community, communicate. And then I'm also thinking about the body, right? So just tap into all of that. Community, communicate. Your body internally as well as outside, right? The card says, communicate honestly. Be who you truly are. It reminds us that being free, that honesty, the freedom of truth, is being free to be yourself, living with honesty and what? Integrity. Okay, the unicorns and the dragons, they always nail it, don't they? Right? So it's about living in our honesty and living in our integrity. And that says, hey, I'm authentic. I have the freedom. I've given myself the freedom of truth to be authentic. It says that we have nothing to hide when we are authentic. We have no secrets, and we're able to be in an transparent aura. And that when we are in that energy of transparency and authenticity and honesty and truth, that people pick up on that energy and they respond with an openness and trust for us, right? The card is telling us how important it is to be truthful and to be honest with ourselves, right? more than with others, but to start off with that truthful conversation and that honest conversation with yourself and being who you truly are, and to speak up about what you want. And again, I'm going to say it because we're in this Libra energy, and Libra energy is all about balance, right? And having that higher heart and speaking the truth, right? And sometimes speaking the truth is hard for people, and sometimes speaking the truth has consequences, but we have to live in a way that we have integrity, so we're willing to go through these things for the future, for the wider picture, for the wider community, right? It says, again, it says speak up and speak out about what you truly want. So we can't be afraid. And again, this throat chakra energy, again, a lot of throat chakra energy, speaking your truth, revealing your thoughts and feelings, be honest with yourselves and be honest with others. It says that telling the truth frees our communication center, again, our throat chakra, right? So again, also the higher, again, we're talking a lot about the higher energies here, the higher chakras, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra, our heart chakra, is tapping into the ninth dimension, so again, all of the just putting everything in one cohesive bowl, the readings that I've been doing over the last couple of months, especially since August, everything is preparing us to tap into our higher self, that higher experience of life with more integrity, with more grace, with more honesty, with more balance, with more truth, with more love, This card goes on to say that genuine people, when we are able to be genuine with people, that they feel safe with us and they accept us and they feel relaxed and more comfortable, and that authenticity gives us being authentic is the gift that we give ourselves, and it helps to transform our life. And I've been writing about, forgiveness is the gift that you give yourself, and your smile is the gift that you give to others. And I just wrote this week, meditation and breath work, like forgiveness is the gift that you forgive yourself. So now it's 4 things, right? 4 gifts that we can give ourselves that others benefit by: our authenticity, our forgiveness, our meditation, and our breath work. All right. This is Gene Key number 18 from September 27th to October 2nd. The healing power of the mind. Its archetype is the perceiver, and I just love this that I got from 64doorways.com. It says the perceiver is that underneath the perceiver's dissatisfaction lies a deep concern for human rights and for what will keep society healthy and in balance. So sometimes, again, those moments of truth, those moments of where we have to stand up and speaking our truth and integrity, it's because there's the perceiver that really wants that has a deep concern for humanity and the future of humanity and people's rights. It says that the perceiver is able to clean out what isn't healthy, and at that same time is able to restore vitality to something that has been corrupted. Isn't that interesting? I thought that was so beautiful, right? So this is where we're at, guys and girls, integrity and farsightedness, the law of grace and speaking our truth, and being the perceiver, the one who is able to clean out what isn't healthy, but at the same time restoring vitality to something that has been corrupted. And guess what? We've all been corrupted. So be the perceiver, all right? Restore with truth and grace and integrity and Christ consciousness and a far-sighted view. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. Until the next Gene Key, I love you all.